RGL, where's the COMC update video? Are you gonna do more COMC content? We're gonna talk all nerdy about cards today. Let's get into it. Hey, what's going on YouTube? RGL coming back at you with a brand new video. And yes, it is finally time for a COMC portfolio update video. If you guys enjoy the COMC content, continue to hit that like button. And as always, if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Normally we rip a lot of products on the channel and I just talk about my thoughts on the new releases of the hobby. And every once in a while I give you a hot hobby take. And sometimes I drop a COMC video, and you guys seem to really enjoy these videos, so we're going to do a long form video today. Now, if you've not caught my videos earlier this year, I have been making a renewed effort to become one of COMC's biggest sellers over the next several years. I know it's not a goal that I'm going to achieve in 1 year, but we've made a lot of good progress, and by we, I mean mostly myself, but I also have my buddy G helping me out with my account too, because my account has grown substantially. It's hard to manage it. We have a lot of cards to price out at times, and yeah, so he has been helping me out as well. He helps sort the breaks as well, so me and him think exactly alike when it comes to COMC, so I've definitely like to have him help me out. It's been great. So when we kicked off last, I kind of showed you some cards that I have flipped this year. I've showed you some cards I've sold, and that is what we are going to do in this update video. I believe we'll do one more video at the end of the year, kind of a tale of the tape. But as of right now, my expectations, where I wanted this COMC account to be, which is an account I've had for over 10 years. Last year, I did not have very much time to focus on selling on COMC. I've always done a lot of buying on the website, and let's go ahead. For those who are not familiar, former COMC employee, I worked there from 2012 up until 2020, both as a subject matter expert, marketing expert, all things. I had my hand on like several different teams there, so I do consider myself to be a power user. I know a whole lot more even than the most advanced user. That being said, I have no special advantages, or I don't have anything available to me that a normal user wouldn't. It's just 10 years of knowledge and understanding of the platform, understanding of the buyers, understanding of the sellers, things like that. Nothing special. I don't have any extra tools. I don't have any extra privileges that a normal user would not have. So let's go ahead, before we get into my information in my portfolio, and let me go ahead and put this on silence. Before we get into my video, I do want to say there is a couple of very cool things, very good things that COMC has done in recent weeks, and I do want to show them some praise, because what I am starting to see is the evolution of my vision of COMC when I worked there, what I wanted it to be, which is like a hub for all things hobby, a place where you could buy into breaks, a place where you could send in cards that you bought on COMC to grade, a place where you could just send in cards to auction, to sell on eBay, and that is what it is turning into. The only thing that they pretty much don't have at this point, some of the little fringe things, but also no trading yet. I don't know if they will ever add a trade platform. I know in my comment section, that's one of my most asked questions is, do I think you'll ever be allowed to trade on COMC? And I'm not quite sure, because they don't have a formal messaging system. You can't reach out to a seller on the platform like you can on eBay. So they would take a whole lot for them to implement that. But they have implemented a couple of good things, and I'm actually pretty excited about it. And I want to share some love because I'm feeling it. The first thing that they added was a pre-grade service, and this was very necessary. Now, last year in 2022, we saw them add CSG grading, partnership with CSG, and this year they added PSA grading, which they had it a long time ago, or they had BGS, I believe, and now that you can send in a card that you bought on COMC directly into grading, you don't need to get it in hand. That is awesome. That is what a lot of people have always wanted. The implementation of it, though, they did not have a pre-grade service, and I actually I experienced the brunt of that when I paid $500 for a Kylian Mbappe Color Blast from Obsidian, sent it in, got a PSA 6, and the team took care of me. Shout out Joe for taking care of me on that one and get me a refund on that card. But they needed a pre-grade service. Now, even though they take a look at the cards incoming before they upload them into the seller's portfolios, they can miss things. You know, they look at thousands of cards a day. I've literally done that at COMC. I've looked at incoming cards and sorted cards that were, you know, prepped for later stages of the processing for sure. So they needed a pre-grade review. They're now offering it. I believe it's $5 a card, and they take a look at it and they either say it passed pre-grade and it's being assessed as mint or better, or it didn't pass. And it's mostly for modern cards. They claim to have an 86% success rate, which, you know what? Hey man, I'll pay $5 to have somebody look at a card. And it's kind of a cool feature, because if you go over here, like if we take this Trevor Lawrence that I bought, for example, I can just choose the pre-grade service, $5. It takes a week, and then it comes back into my account and they say, hey, we think this is going to be a 9 or better, or they'll say, no, we don't think it's going to be a 9 or better. Of course, good chance maybe a PSA grader disagrees and it comes back in 8, you know, but to have that option, yes, I do want to pre-grade my cards. And then of course you can send it into PSA, and then there's many different levels, from a 2-week turnaround time on walkthrough all the way down to the value level at $24. So you can do that now. That is awesome. It's an awesome feature. The other thing, and I guess some good timing on their part, that I'm dropping this video today, they are now doing live auctions on eBay. I don't know too much about live auctions. I'm not a big fan. If I was gonna submit a card, I would wait and see how this went. I'd kind of take a peek at what the live auction looks like for them. Traditionally, COMC has not done a lot of live content like on Instagram or YouTube or anything of that nature. Very little of that. So I'm very curious to see what this is gonna look like in a few hours. When my video is gonna go live at 10 a.m. in the morning, there's gonna be live at 2 p.m. Pacific on eBay. I'm curious to see what this looks like. I decided not to send in cards just because I want to see how they go. But the blog is right there. I will put it in the description. It is something interesting, something I did not expect them to do. But you can submit a card directly to live auction, and it looks like you get your money a bit quicker than you would if it was an eBay auction. Looks like the card will sell a bit quicker, and the processing is faster. So, hey, that's good. All right, now let's get into the nerdy stuff. The nerdy stuff. This year, let's go ahead and take a look at my sales for the year. And here they are from the last few years. You can see during the height of the pandemic, I really ramped up my selling. My best year ever was in 2020, sold 12,000 cards for 84,000, almost 85,000. And then last year, I had no time to sell cards. I did very, very little with my COMC account other than buying cards. And then this year I said, hey, I want to make it a goal to be a top seller on COMC. And so that is what I've done. And this year we've sold about 5,500 cards for about 61,500 total. And that pretty much puts us close to being on pace to hit this. So let's go ahead, take a look at the monthly sales from this year. Starting in January, when I said I wanted to ramp up around January, February. 1,622, you know, we ramped up, more cards got submitted into my account. We started selling more cards that I had been sitting here for a year and a half, honestly. So I started doing submissions again this year, and you can kind of see ramping up. July was a very, very big month, because that's when I ran a bunch of auctions for some slabs and got rid of some stuff that had been sitting here, and some stuff that was a part of my grading submission reveals from earlier this year. And then we're hovering right around the $10,000 mark for the last 3 months or so. So based off of that, I am expecting, my goal for 2023 is to have this be my best sales year ever on COMC. And I'm on pace, maybe a little off pace, maybe we're a little slow this month, but I do expect it to pick up. I have a couple pretty big cards that are being sent to auction, part of their NBA tip-off event later this month. So I'm hoping that we once again land in the 8,500 to 10K. Next month is their Black Friday special, I assume. I haven't heard anything yet about it, but they always run a Black Friday event at the end of November into December. So I will be discounting off a lot of cards in my portfolio just to try to expedite some sales towards the end of the year, and probably honestly stat pad to get up over 85K in sales. So we're going to talk about some of this in detail. I'm going to show you some of my flips, and we're going to get really, really nerdy with that. On the flip side, as always, because I am selling cards, I am also buying cards, and I am buying a lot of cards. These are my stats for the last few years as far as buying cards on COMC goes. Once again, you can kind of see last year I just had no time. I was so focused on the channel. I was so focused on, you know, kind of becoming cementing myself as, you know, a regular group breaker twice a week, that I had almost no time to sell cards or buy cards. So I did not even buy that many cards last year. This year, as you can see, the year that I've spent the most on cards, I haven't bought in 2020. I actually bought 2,600 cards. So I don't know if I'm going to beat that stat, but I was buying a lot more low end stuff. You can see average price was at like $10 a card. This year, you can see the average price is well over 20, almost $23, $24 a card is what I buy. I am going to show you some of those, and we're going to talk about some flips later on in the video. But yeah, I do want to go ahead and show you some of the nerdy stats right now. So let's go ahead. We got to look at a spreadsheet, y'all. So spreadsheets aren't your thing. The more visual, the more fun, I should say, will be coming up later in the video. So let's kick on over to the spreadsheet. RGL, what on earth is this albatross that you are making me look at right now? So this is my spreadsheet. I can download it on COMC. Anybody can download their spreadsheet of cards sold for any month, any year, any time period that you want. I guess it has to be years or months, but you can download it and it looks incredibly nerdy. But this is it. Here is all 4,000. All 4,000 plus, I believe the number is 5,000, excuse me, all 5,454 cards sold this year. I've actually parsed this out into two other spreadsheets. The first spreadsheet is cards that I submitted that were sold by me, that from, you know, my collection, or that I bought, you know, off COMC, or that I pulled in packs, pulled in breaks, what have you. And then my flips as well, because a big part of this, you know, you guys like to hear about and see some of my flips. And don't worry, because we are going to look at probably my top 20 or 30 flips, and I'm going to talk about what I saw with those. But we're going to spend a few minutes here on the spreadsheet. Now let's go ahead, take a look. These are all of the cards that I flipped. So I did parse these out from the cards that I submitted. So we're not going to spend too much time looking at these in this form. But all the way down at the bottom, I have calculated all of the tail of the tape stats that will give some context. So all in all, the cost of all of the cards that I have flipped this year, $13,352. I have sold them for $24,166. And then after fees, about which, you know, seller fees $1,100, promotional fees, which if you're running a sale, they take an extra 1% of your original asking price. So after fees, I've cleared $22,800 on $13,352 dollars. So that's almost $10,000 net profit. That's like $9,800 just on flipping cards. Now, keep in mind, or excuse me, that is, why can't I math right now? I can't math while I'm live. Yeah, that is about $9,500 in profit on COMC. Now that is seeing a card I like on COMC, clicking two buttons, buying it, and giving it a new price. That's it. I'm not taking possession of the card. I'm not selling it on eBay. I'm not having to deal with a seller who says, hey bud, kid bid on this one, can I get a cancel? Not doing any of that. All I'm doing with that is strictly buying it on COMC, usually paying what the seller asks for it. I don't even put in an offer on most cards. I just pay them what they wanted, and then I turn around and I flip it. I give it a new price, and then it resells, and then the credit goes to my COMC account. If you're not familiar with flipping, I've done many videos in the past on this channel talking about flipping. So go check those out. I do have a playlist of all my COMC videos. If you're just fascinated by this, you've never seen it before, definitely check some of that out, because I explained some of the more, some of these things more in detail. This is kind of just a general update overview video where I can't get too specific into things. So those are all the cards I flipped. These are all the cards that I have submitted. So these are at the top. You know, this Justin Fields Downtown rookie I sold for $13.75. I'm glad I sold that one before the start of the season. This huge Soto 2018 Gold Prism, my top two sales. But like I've talked about in past videos, typically I don't send in too much stuff to COMC that will sell for over $100. I just feel like I can handle that. I don't have too many of those. I mean, I do have those cards in my possession, but I'd rather sell those myself, personally. It's just, I think that I can get more, or I think I know the right people, or, you know, what have you. I don't really sell too many $100+ cards on COMC, so it looks like actually I've sold, of my own, it looks like I've sold about 50, and a lot of them were by auction. So if you're seeing all these cards right here that don't have a transaction fee, these were sold at auction. These were all slabs that I sold, you know, from my PSA reveal videos. Those are all actual slabs. So, man, Kyle Trask for $330. I don't even know what card was that. That was a white sparkle optic for $330. I sold it on July 28th. Talk about good timing right there. But once again, not gonna spend too much time on this one. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. I have sold a total of 4,745 of my own cards. I've sold them for $36,000. I've paid about $1,365 in seller fees, $153 in promotion fees, so around $1,500. And after fees for cards that were just sitting here, literally collecting dust, I've made $35,288 off of those cards this year. I was actually very curious to see if I could figure out how much I have paid COMC in processing fees, because again, any card that I submit to COMC, you do have to process, or you do have to pay a processing fee. You can get it down to, I believe, was it 50 cents a card if it's like, or you can get it down to 35 cents a card. I don't know, don't quote me on any of this. But I usually send into the 2-week service for $1 a card. But if the cards have, let's see if I get this right, it's their fresh pools program. If the cards are less than 90 days old, so if it's from a set that is 90 days old or less, it is 50% off. So I think it's 50 cents a card, I think. So I've actually looked it up. This year I've uploaded 11,925 cards from my batches, starting all the way back in March, all the way to my latest batch, which I just dropped off about 600 cards with them, and they've uploaded 70 so far. I've paid $8,100 in fees, so $8,133 in fees. And if you take that from this number right here, so 35,288, let me do some quick maths. 35,288. Try this again. 35,288 minus, what did I say, $8,300. 81 minus 81. So after fees, $27,188. Now, if I wanted to cash out, there is an additional 10% cash out fee. So if I wanted just straight cash, take off another 10% from that, you're looking at another $2,700. I could have cashed out for right around $24,400. But I don't cash out, at least not yet. The goal here is to build a huge COMC account, to make a huge account. So I'm always looking for ports to buy on COMC, and we'll talk about that in a whole different video. Always looking for cards, always looking for ports, always buying cards on their eBay auctions, which I can pay for with COMC credit. And there are better ways to cash out on COMC than to just take the 10% hit. You can check out for a blowout gift card, and you get, if you cash out $1,000, you get 6%. So they're taking, you save 4% right there. Alternatively, you can do what is known as a cash out card, or several cash out cards. You can just buy high-end cards on COMC that, you know, $3,000, $4,000. If you can find a good deal on cards, you can cash those out and maybe sell them at a store, sell them to a shop for what you paid for them, and then your fees are effectively $0. But that's a different topic for a different video. Maybe if you're interested in hearing about that, I can definitely talk about that at another point in time. Let's go ahead. I want to flip it back over to the good stuff. None of this nerdy stuff. Flip it back over to the good stuff. Show you some of my better flips for the year before we get on out of here. All right, like I said, I like to end these videos by showing off some of my flips for the year. I think it's very fun to show you kind of what my mentality was when I bought a card, and what I thought, what I saw that maybe the original seller didn't see, or if they underpriced it. I'm pretty sure in my last video I discussed this one. I took a very big L on this one. I bought this one for, I think, $800. I sent it to auction thinking it would push over $1,000, and it did like $500. So that was one of my only L's this year as far as flipping goes. Only big L's. Let's go ahead. I think we talked about this Kobe. Maybe I don't remember. I think we talked about this Kobe. I bought this. Seller was running an 80% off sale. I think I paid $500 or $400 for it. Resold it on eBay for $855. This one I feel really bad about because this card is awesome. This Keegan purple scope from this year's Prism Choice. Paid $300 for it, and then I mispriced it in my own port. I was running a 30% off sale at the time. I made only $27 profit on it. It sold 2 days after I bought it. I bought it on $925, sold it on $927, and I'm pretty sad about it because I think Keegan's gonna be pretty good. Card looks almost dead center. Probably could have sent it in for grading, got a gem, and made even more on it. I think I talked about this one in my last video, this glass LeBron Elite glass court vision to 49, 47 to 49. This is just a very tough card. Heat uni, paid 300 for it. I sold it for 713 after fees. This Mike Trout 1 of 1 manufactured patch. A lot of people don't like manufactured patches. I love them. I don't think they're doing these in update this year, which makes me sad. I paid 201. I sold it for 240. This card, man, I kind of wanted to keep this one. This is one of my favorite Tom Brady Topps cards. This is a black number to 55. I paid 200 for it. I flipped it for 281. I held it for a little less than a month, actually. This Jordan Lawler came up, this Aqua. It was a first to 199. Actually had a bottom right corner ding. Bought it for 200. Sold it the same day. I made 28 bucks. So 10% profit right there on that one. Holding it for like an hour. This one was a pretty big one too. This was the Elite Series. Once again, another court vision to 49 of Steph. These are just super hard cards. I bought this and the LeBron from the exact same seller. I paid his full asking price for this one was $180, and I sold it for $570. I bought it back in January. It did take almost a half a year to sell, but I got exactly my full asking price, what I thought I could get for it. Here's one you probably didn't think could be flipped. Rocco Baldelli Superfractor Auto. I paid $149 for it. I sold it for $178. I held it a little less than a month, about 3 weeks. I just recently sold this one, and I kind of like this one. I almost decided, me and G have a term. It's called future pricing. Pricing a card at what you think it'll sell for in the future. You know, you have no intention to sell it now. I really should have future priced this one because I feel like this card is hard. It's a retail parallel. Gem Mint 10, Copper Glitter. I did pay $125 for that one. I sold it for $189 after fees. I held it for a little under 2 months. This Mario Lemieux I made 50 bucks on earlier this year. I think we talked about that. I think we actually talked about some of these. So let's go ahead, look at the sale day. Here's one. Joel Embiid, paid 99 bucks for it. Rookie retail green. Sold it for 123 after fees. This one, me and G were going back and forth on. He thought he wasn't sure about this one. I bought this for 16-17 Kaboom Buddy Hield. Now, Buddy Hield in 2023. You can't flip Buddy Hield cards in 2023, can you? As it turns out, you can. I bought this Kaboom. It's from Excalibur. I paid 100 bucks for it. I sold it 5 days later to somebody on eBay for $332 after fees. That's kind of crazy. Here's another one that was a 1-day flip. Actually, I gotta credit G for it because he bought it. I think I was live on stream when he bought this one with my account. This Select Paul George 1 of 1. I believe this is from the Industry Summit. I believe this was an Industry Summit reward. Paid 100 bucks for it. Sold it for 130 in less than a day. Made 20 bucks or so, $98 up to 117 on this Desmond Ritter 17 of 25. This Frank Thomas, I also sold it in 3 days. Only made $22 on it. I think we could have got a bit more. Looked very well centered. It is from this year's Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary. Just a beautiful card. I'm pretty sure we could have got 150 or more for it. Bought this Jason Kidd Flawless USA card, 6 of 10 gold. I paid $89 for it. I sold it 4 days later for 131 after fees. This Kobe Youthquake, I thought I was gonna take an L on this one. 96 Topps Kobe Youthquake, PSA 6, paid 85. I sold it for 142. I don't know why I sold this Giddy because I like it a lot. I should have kept this one for the PC. On card Giddy from last year's Contenders Optic, paid 80 bucks, sold it for 103. Should have kept it. Rafi Devers Topps On Demand 1 of 1. This just shows you 101 sell, man. 101s, any 101 sells, especially if it has a stamp on it. 101 paid $75 for that from 2019. Sold it for $105, $30 profit in about 6 weeks or so. This Mike Trout, I had this one for a little over a month. I paid $73 for a platinum, Bowman Platinum 3 of 10. Sold it for 96. Just looking down here to see if there's any like pretty sizable flips. We're going down by purchase price. Here's a pretty solid one right here. I think I might have talked about it in the last video. Just a very hard Yarmer Yager card. 41 of 100, only 100 in the world from 99-2000 season, and paid $68 for it. Flipped it for 180. Trying to see if there's anything down here that's like pretty sizable. Nice little double up right here on this DK Metcalf. I actually have a gold of this card, so I didn't mind flipping it. I paid $60 for that one. I sold it for 118 after fees. And then also this one, this tie-dye courtside Kevin Durant. Nets uniform, but it does have a Suns logo on it. It's from this year's Select. And it's courtside, which have been highly disrespected this year. Paid 63, sold it for 118. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of just other flips on here. This Cal Ripken Diamond Icons auto, paid 55, sold it for $100. I think 100, yeah, 101. Matthias Thybulle, who is flipping Matthias Thybulle in 2023? I am. Gold Disco, paid $54, sold for $85. And then here's a better one right here. Little 98.99 Fleer Gold Medallion SGC 9 Michael Jordan, paid $50, sold it for 111. Here's another one. I think I talked about this in my last video. This Tom Brady to 30, just a hard card. You don't see these very often. 2019 score. Somebody's probably putting together the set and paid 50, sold it for 118. Let's go over to page 2. I don't think there's going to be any big dubs on this one. Let's see if there's any big dubs. Matt Stafford had this one for a little over a month. This is a rookie manufactured patch with an auto on it. Sorry, Kelly, for selling this one. Paid 46, sold it for 118. Just looking for anything that had like a huge margin. These are all just average. Here's a pretty decent one. This one's a very tough card. This is actually one of my favorite kind of cards to flip. This is a 2010 Topps Heritage Black Clayton Kershaw, numbered down to 61 that year for Topps, for 1961 Topps. I paid $39.74 for it. We sold it for $101. 3 days. Could have got way more for it. That's a very tough card. This one, these gold prisms don't show up very often. This is a first year prism gold from when Panini did hockey. And that one got put up on COMC for $38. Scooped it up, sold it for $139. So even just random cards like that you wouldn't think to flip. You see that in a bin for $40. I don't know who buys that. I definitely would, but I don't know how many other people buy it. I don't really see any too many like big ROI flips. So I think that is just about gonna do it. I try to keep these videos at about a half hour. And yeah, so maybe I will at some point just do a live stream and just do like a Q&A. I think that is what is next in the series, is just going live, doing a 1 hour, 90-minute Q&A, just talking all things COMC. Maybe we look at cards and we try to buy some cards together, because I think that would be fun to do a group buy where we just look for undervalued cards, or we just browse the recently added section, which I always tell you guys the best place to look for undervalued cards to flip is in the COMC recently added section. It's just a hodgepodge of everything that is currently being priced out by sellers. And the way you get to it, let's see if COMC wants to cooperate. Here on the COMC homepage, you literally just hit the go button. You literally just hit the go button, and that is everything that is being priced out in real time. Make sure your sort by is recently added. And then if you want to take it a step further, you can get an auto refresher and have an add-on in your browser. Auto refresh every 30 seconds or every 15 seconds. You just see a brand new cards constantly being added to COMC, and that is one of your best places to find cards. This one's fun if you guys don't know what this is as we get on out of here. This one's the 2007 Topps with Mickey Mantle in the dugout and also George Bush in the... That one used to sell for quite a bit of money. That one's a fun little Easter egg card. That is going to do it for me. If you have any questions about COMC, any questions about the content that you saw today, feel free to ask in the comments. I'll do my best to respond. Again, this is just another update video. I've done a ton of COMC content in the past. I've explained some of the terms and some of the things that we've done. I explained it in great detail. How to make a submission, how to flip a card, all of that stuff, so you can catch that in a different video. That's gonna do it for me. Take care, stay safe, and we'll catch you next time in the next COMC update video, which will come out probably in January or so. I'll do another update, and we'll take a look at how we did in 2023. See ya.